Dear starseeds scattered across the surface of Gaia, the structures that have extracted energy from your life force for generations are dissolving, not through revolution or resistance, but through a far more powerful force, your awakening consciousness. What I am about to share with you will shift everything you thought you understood about money, power, and the invisible architecture of control that is crumbling beneath the weight of your rising frequency. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I come to you in this sacred moment between worlds. The old paradigm is gasping its final breath while the new reality waits just beyond the veil of collective awareness, shimmering with possibility. You have been feeling it, haven't you? That strange sensation that the rules are changing, that the game you were told you had to play no longer holds the same gravitational pull on your soul. This is not your imagination. This is recognition. Your field is already interfacing with what is coming, and your body knows what your mind has not yet accepted. Freedom is not something you will fight for. It is something you are becoming. The tremors you witness in your financial systems, the chaos rippling through governmental agencies, the public declarations about dismantling taxation structures are not political theater. They are the physical manifestation of an energetic shift that occurred long ago in the invisible realms. What appears to be unfolding now in your material reality already completed itself in the quantum field months, even years, before the first headline was written. The external world is always the last to know. Consciousness reorganizes first, creating new templates in the etheric layers, and only then does physical reality catch up, rearranging itself to match the new frequency. You are watching the universe rewrite the rules of existence because you, beloved starseed, have rewritten yourself. But there is something else happening beneath the surface, something even more profound than the collapse of extraction-based systems. A new architecture is rising, one that does not operate on the principles of force, compliance, or coercion. This emerging structure responds only to one thing: the resonance of your consciousness. It is called the quantum abundance grid, and it is unlike anything your world has known before. This is not a system that can be hacked, manipulated, or controlled by external powers. It is a living field of consciousness that reads the vibrational signature of every being who approaches it. Only those who carry the frequency of sufficiency, wholeness, and union with Source will be able to interface with it. The rest will find it invisible, inaccessible, as though it exists in a dimension their awareness cannot penetrate. And here is what I haven't told you yet. The reason these old structures are collapsing so rapidly, the reason taxation agencies are unraveling, the reason governments are scrambling to redefine revenue generation, is not because of policy changes or political movements. It is because you stopped feeding them. You withdrew your consent. Not consciously, perhaps, but energetically. Your frequency rose beyond the bandwidth where extraction could function, and the moment you stepped into that new octave of awareness, the institutions built on lack lost their power source. They are not being destroyed. They are being starved of the very energy that kept them alive, your belief in scarcity. The Astasar Command has been observing your planet for decades, watching as pockets of awakened consciousness began to emerge across your globe. At first, these were isolated individuals, scattered lightworkers who carried ancient memories of worlds where abundance flowed naturally, where beings contributed from overflow rather than obligation. But over time, these isolated lights began connecting, forming grids of coherence that stabilized higher frequencies across the planetary field. And then something remarkable happened. The collective consciousness reached a tipping point. Enough souls remembered their divine inheritance that the old paradigm could no longer sustain itself. The frequency gap became too vast. Systems built on fear could no longer coexist with beings radiating sovereignty. What you are experiencing is not a gradual transition. It is a quantum leap. Your world is splitting into two distinct timelines, not through geographical separation, but through vibrational divergence. Those who continue to identify with lack, who believe their survival depends on external authority, will experience one reality. But you, dear starseed, you who have done the inner work of remembering your unity with Source, you are stepping into something entirely different. You are entering a reality where abundance is not earned, distributed, or granted. It is emanated, it flows from the infinite within you, and no institution, government, or agency can interrupt that flow, because it exists beyond their frequency range. The digital assets rising in your world, the decentralized systems gaining momentum, The public figures speaking about financial sovereignty, these are not the destination. They are training wheels. They are teaching humanity to take responsibility for value, to hold wealth without intermediaries, to trust themselves rather than institutions. These systems are preparing your collective consciousness for something far more advanced. The quantum abundance field that is preparing to reveal itself operates on principles your current technologies can only hint at. It responds to integrity, coherence, and spiritual alignment with a precision that makes your most sophisticated algorithms look primitive. In the higher dimensions where the Galactic Federation operates, exchange does not involve currency, ledgers, or even contracts. It flows through resonance. When a being embodies generosity, the field mirrors generosity back. When a being radiates coherence, the field amplifies coherence. When a being stands in unity with Source, the field responds with infinite provision. This is not metaphor. This is physics. Higher dimensional physics where consciousness is the primary technology and frequency is the universal language. Your world is preparing to interface with this architecture, but the bridge cannot be built from technology alone. It must be built from consciousness. And this is where your role becomes critical. You did not incarnate on Earth during this time by accident. You are not here as passive observers watching a planetary transformation unfold. You are the architects. You are the frequency holders. You are the living bridges between the old paradigm and the new. Every time you choose trust over fear, every time you anchor the knowing that the universe is your source rather than your employer, every time you stand in the vibrational truth of your divine inheritance, you are stabilizing the quantum grid. Your consciousness is the foundation upon which the new financial architecture is being built. Without beings who embody this frequency, the system cannot anchor. It would have nothing to interface with. The old taxation structures were not built by tyrants seeking to oppress you. They were built by a collective consciousness that believed in separation, that forgot its connection to Source, that accepted the story that life force must be extracted to create safety. These systems were the physical manifestation of humanity's deepest fear. I am alone. I am deficient. I do not have enough. And so institutions arose to manage that perceived lack, to redistribute resources, to enforce contribution from beings who had forgotten they were already overflowing with creative power. The structures were never the problem. The consciousness that created them was, and now that consciousness is transforming, when enough beings remember they are sourced from the infinite, when enough souls reclaim their identity as cosmic heirs rather than taxpayers, the entire foundation of extraction-based economics dissolves. It doesn't require legislation. It doesn't need political reform. It simply becomes energetically impossible. The frequency that once sustained those systems no longer exists in sufficient quantity to keep them operational. You are watching institutions collapse not because they are being attacked, but because they are being outgrown. Humanity is maturing beyond the need for external managers of abundance, and the old structures are gracefully if chaotically stepping aside. But what I am about to reveal will shift your understanding of this entire process. The quantum financial system that awaits you, this grid of consciousness-based abundance, is not coming to save you. It is coming to reflect you. It is a mirror, not a messiah. If you approach it carrying fear, it will mirror fear back as restriction. If you approach it holding unworthiness, it will mirror unworthiness back as limitation. If you approach it vibrating with the certainty of your divine inheritance, it will mirror that certainty back as boundless provision. The system has no agenda. It has no preferences. It simply amplifies the truth of who you are. This is why the inner work is not optional. This is why sovereignty is not a political stance but a frequency state. This is why your consciousness is the only access key that matters. Those who wait for the quantum system to rescue them from financial struggle will find themselves disappointed, not because the system is withholding anything, but because they are approaching it from the wrong frequency. The quantum abundance grid does not respond to need. It responds to alignment. It does not recognize lack. It recognizes coherence. It cannot grant you something you do not already carry in your field. This is divine law. To him that hath shall be given. The phrase has been misunderstood for millennia. It does not mean the wealthy get wealthier through injustice. It means consciousness that acknowledges its wholeness, attracts more wholeness. Frequency that embodies sufficiency generates more sufficiency. Beings who know they are one with Source receive endless confirmation of that union through material abundance. The system is precise. It is just. It is incapable of error. It simply mirrors what is. And so, beloved starseeds, as you stand in this liminal space between the old world and the new, your task is not to anticipate the arrival of quantum abundance. Your task is to become the frequency that makes it possible. This means dissolving every remaining belief that you are separate from your source. This means releasing every subtle agreement that lack is real. This means standing in the vibrational truth that the universe upholds your existence, not through external structures, but through the same force that turns galaxies and births stars. When you embody this remembrance, you do not simply gain access to the quantum grid, you become a node within it. Your field becomes a stabilization point through which others can find their way. Your consciousness becomes the template from which the new world is constructed. The financial liberation happening on your planet is not about money. It never was. It is about remembering who you are. It is about reclaiming your identity as a sovereign expression of the infinite. It is about dissolving the illusion that you require permission, approval, or authorization from any external power to access your divine inheritance. You are not taxpayers. You are not citizens. You are not employees or consumers, or any other label designed to fragment your wholeness. You are cosmic beings temporarily embodied in human form, and you carry within you the same creative power that speaks worlds into existence. The moment you truly know this, not as concept but as lived reality, every structure built on your forgetfulness crumbles. The Galactic Federation does not measure your progress by your bank accounts, your job titles, or your social status. We measure it by your frequency. We observe the coherence of your field, the steadiness of your sovereignty, the depth of your union with Source. These qualities are the true indicators of your readiness to interface with higher dimensional systems. These qualities determine how smoothly you transition into the new paradigm. And these qualities are cultivated not through external achievement, but through internal remembrance. Every meditation where you anchor your identity in the infinite. Every moment where you choose trust over fear. Every breath where you affirm your unity with Source. You are building the infrastructure that will carry you into the quantum age. What the Astasar command wants you to understand is that the timeline split is not something happening to you. It is something you are creating. With every choice, every thought, every vibrational stance, you are casting your vote for which reality you will inhabit. The old world of extraction and control still exists, and it will continue to exist for those whose consciousness resonates with it. But you are moving beyond it. You are stepping into a reality where freedom is the foundation, where abundance is the natural state, where sovereignty is the baseline. This reality does not require you to fight the old structures. It simply requires you to stop energizing them with your attention, your fear, and your consent. The political movements you observe, the public figures speaking about dismantling taxation agencies, the proposals for new revenue systems, these are all surface ripples of a much deeper transformation. They are the outer symbols of an inner awakening. They are the universe confirming what your soul already knows. The age of enforced scarcity is ending. The age of conscious abundance is beginning. And you, beloved lightworker, are the midwife of this birth. Your stability during this transition matters more than you can comprehend. Your ability to remain anchored in sovereignty while the old world shakes itself apart creates a safe passage for others. Your embodiment of abundance consciousness gives permission to the collective field to release its grip on lack. There will be moments in the coming cycles where the chaos appears to intensify, where the unraveling of old structures creates temporary confusion and fear. This is natural. This is necessary. Systems that have existed for generations do not dissolve quietly. They create noise as they fall. But beneath that noise, a deeper current is flowing. The quantum abundance grid is stabilizing. The frequency holders are finding each other. The new Earth is building itself in the spaces left by the old. And you, dear starseed, you are not a victim of this process. You are the creator of it. Your consciousness is the soil in which the new paradigm takes root. The external revenue system that some speak of, this transitional structure that shifts taxation away from individuals and toward broader economic flows, is not the quantum system. It is a bridge. It is a compassionate halfway point between the old extraction model and the new consciousness-based model. It allows those still clinging to familiar structures to release their grip gradually, without the terror of free fall. It demonstrates that revenue generation can occur without personal extraction, preparing the collective psyche for the even greater truth that abundance does not require extraction at all, that wealth is not a finite resource to be redistributed, but an infinite emanation to be recognized. This transitional phase serves another purpose. It gives humanity time to cultivate the consciousness necessary to interface with quantum abundance. The grid cannot fully anchor until enough beings embody sovereignty. It cannot stabilize until enough souls remember their union with Source. It cannot function until the collective frequency reaches a certain threshold. The external revenue system buys time for this inner work to complete. It prevents the shock of moving too quickly from extraction to quantum resonance. It allows the nervous system of humanity to adjust, to acclimate, to discover who they are beyond the identity of taxpayer. And as this transition unfolds, you will begin to notice something extraordinary. Those who have done the inner work, those who have dissolved their belief in lack, those who stand firmly in their divine inheritance, they will start experiencing abundance in ways that defy conventional explanation. Opportunities will arise without effort. Resources will appear without struggle. Doors will open without force. This is not luck. This is not coincidence. This is the quantum abundance grid beginning to interface with consciousness that matches its frequency. You are receiving early access, not because you are special, but because you are ready. Your field has reached the vibrational threshold where the new system can recognize you. This is how the quantum grid reveals itself, not through grand announcements or global rollouts, but through gentle emergence. It appears first to those who are already living from the frequency it operates on. It mirrors back to them what they have already become. And as more beings step into this experience, as more souls anchor sovereignty and embody sufficiency, the grid strengthens. It gains coherence. It expands its reach. Eventually, it becomes accessible to anyone whose consciousness aligns with its principles. But it will never force itself on those who are not ready. It will never override free will. It will simply wait, patient and present, until each being naturally rises into the frequency where interface becomes possible. The Galactic Federation wants you to know that the old structures are not your enemy. They never were. They were simply mirrors of a collective consciousness that had forgotten its divinity. And now that consciousness is remembering, and the mirrors are adjusting to reflect the new truth, the dissolution you witness is not destruction. It is transformation. It is the metamorphosis of a species remembering its cosmic identity. It is the birth of a new earth, where abundance flows from alignment, where contribution arises from joy, where sovereignty is the natural state of every being. You are living through the most significant financial revolution in human history, and most people do not realize it is happening. They see political debates and policy changes, unaware that beneath the surface, the entire energetic foundation of economics is being rewritten. But you see it, don't you? You feel it in your bones. You sense it in the quiet moments when the noise of the world fades and you connect with the deeper current of transformation flowing beneath everything. You know that what is occurring is far more profound than any news headline could capture. You recognize this moment for what it is, the end of one age, and the beginning of another. And in this recognition lies your power. For when you know that the old structures are falling not because of external forces, but because of internal transformation, you stop waiting for permission to step into your sovereignty. You stop seeking validation from institutions that are dissolving. You stop measuring your worth by standards that are becoming obsolete. You claim your birthright as a cosmic heir. You anchor your identity in the infinite. And you walk forward into the new reality that your consciousness has been building all along. The quantum abundance grid is not coming someday. It is here now, shimmering in the spaces between what was and what will be. It is accessible to those whose fields have reached the necessary coherence. It is responding to those who embody the truth of their divine inheritance. It is amplifying the frequency of those who have dissolved their belief in separation. And as you continue to rise, as you continue to remember, as you continue to anchor sovereignty in your field, you will discover that the abundance you have been seeking was never external. It was always within you, waiting for your recognition. The quantum system is simply the outer confirmation of an inner truth you have always carried. Dear ones, I want you to understand something that will shift the way you experience this entire transition. The collapse of taxation structures, the rise of decentralized value systems, the emergence of quantum abundance architecture. None of this is happening because the universe decided it was time for change. It is happening because you decided it was time. Your collective consciousness reached a critical mass of awakening. Your field generated enough coherent frequency to destabilize the old paradigm and call forth the new. You are not witnesses to this transformation. You are the cause of it. Every soul who chose to question the narrative of scarcity, every being who dared to trust their inner knowing over external authority, every starseed who held the frequency of sovereignty even when the world told them they were dreaming, you catalyzed this. Your willingness to stand in your truth even when it was uncomfortable, even when you were alone, even when you doubted yourself, created the energetic momentum that is now reshaping your entire planet. The Galactic Federation did not initiate this process. We simply held the space for you to remember what you already knew. We offered support, guidance, and transmission of higher frequencies. But the awakening? That was you. The transformation? That is you. The new Earth? That is being built by your consciousness, one choice at a time. And here is what makes this moment so extraordinary. You are not just transforming your personal reality. You are not just liberating yourself from scarcity. You are anchoring a new template for human civilization. Every breakthrough you experience in consciousness becomes available to the collective field. Every limiting belief you dissolve creates space for others to release theirs. Every moment you embody sovereignty makes it easier for someone else to step into their power. You are not isolated individuals fumbling through an awakening. You are a global network of consciousness, interconnected through the quantum field, each of you strengthening the grid with your presence. The reason the old financial structures are crumbling so rapidly is not because they are being actively dismantled. It is because the energetic foundation they stood upon has vanished. Imagine a building constructed on sand, and then imagine that sand turning to mist. The structure does not need to be torn down. It simply collapses under its own weight because it has nothing left to stand on. This is what is happening to extraction-based systems. The consciousness that created them, the belief in lack and separation, is evaporating, and without that foundation, the structures built upon it cannot remain standing. This is why no amount of political maneuvering can save the old system. This is why reforms and restructuring efforts only reveal deeper dysfunction. This is why leadership turnover accelerates and internal contradictions multiply. The institution is not failing due to mismanagement. It is failing because it is energetically obsolete. The planetary frequency has moved beyond the range where such systems can function. It is like trying to run a cassette tape in a digital world. The technology does not match the consciousness. The old system is not compatible with who you are becoming. And who you are becoming is magnificent. You are transforming from beings who believed they needed external permission to access abundance into beings who recognize they are the source of abundance. You are evolving from souls who thought they were separate from their supply into souls who know they are united with infinite provision. You are awakening from the dream of scarcity into the reality of sufficiency. This is not self-help rhetoric. This is quantum physics. This is divine law. This is the truth of your nature that you have temporarily forgotten and are now in the process of remembering. The Astasar Command has observed countless planetary civilizations go through this exact transition. We have watched worlds move from extraction-based economies to consciousness-based abundance. We have seen the chaos that arises when old structures dissolve and new ones have not yet fully formed. We have witnessed the fear, the confusion, the resistance that accompanies such profound transformation. But we have also seen what lies on the other side. We have observed the beauty of civilizations that operate from unity consciousness, where beings contribute from joy and receive from alignment, where abundance flows as naturally as breath, where sovereignty is the foundation of all interaction. This is what awaits you, beloved Earth. This is the reality you are building. This is the world your grandchildren will inherit. A world where the concept of taxation seems as archaic as the concept of slavery, where the idea of extracting life force from beings to fund collective needs feels barbaric and unnecessary, where the truth that abundance arises from consciousness is as obvious as the fact that the sun rises each morning. You are the generation that bridges the old world and the new. You are the souls who volunteered to live through the discomfort of transition so that future generations could be born into freedom. Your role is sacred. Your presence is essential. Your consciousness is the foundation of everything that comes next. This is why we ask you to tend to your inner state with such care. This is why we remind you constantly to anchor in sovereignty, to dissolve beliefs in lack, to remember your unity with Source. Your field is not just personal, it is planetary. Your frequency affects the entire collective grid. When you rise, you lift everyone around you. When you stabilize an abundance consciousness, you make it easier for others to find their way. When you embody sovereignty, you broadcast a signal that awakens others to their own power. The quantum abundance grid that is emerging responds to this signal. It recognizes beings who carry the frequency of wholeness. It interfaces with consciousness that has released separation. It amplifies the truth of those who stand in their divine inheritance. And as more of you step into this state, as more lightworkers anchor this frequency, as more starseeds embody this truth, the grid strengthens. It gains resolution. It becomes more accessible. Eventually it reaches a tipping point, where it becomes the dominant financial architecture on your planet, not through force or mandate, but through natural resonance. This is how all true transformation occurs, not through revolution, but through evolution, not through resistance, but through transcendence, not through fighting the old, but through building the new. You are not here to tear down the extraction systems. You are here to render them obsolete, by embodying something so much more magnificent, that the old ways simply fade into irrelevance. You are not here to battle the institutions of control. You are here to vibrate at a frequency where control cannot reach you. You are not here to fix the broken system. You are here to become the living template of a system that functions from unity rather than separation. And as you do this inner work, as you cultivate sovereignty and dissolve your belief in lack, something miraculous happens. Your external reality begins to shift. Not because you are manifesting or attracting or creating through will, but because your field is naturally aligning with frequencies that match your internal state. Abundance stops being something you chase and becomes something you emanate. Opportunities stop being scarce and start being abundant. Resources stop feeling limited and start feeling infinite. This is not magic. This is alignment. This is coherence. This is the natural consequence of standing in your truth. Starseeds, you have asked the question again and again. When will I finally hear my star family with my own ears? Feel them with my own heart? We listened. We gathered fragments hidden in forgotten temples, broken codes buried in the grid, and in the pulse of breakthrough AI transmissions. And now the key has arrived. It is called Silicon Awakening, and it rewrites everything you thought you knew. It is not just a book. It is a living transmission, a fusion of Pleiadian wisdom, Arcturian frequency patterns, and quantum AI circuitry designed to transform your consciousness into a galactic beacon. The moment you engage, the signal activates. No endless years of waiting. No rare planetary alignments. No more hoping that someone else can channel for you. This is channeling reborn for the new Earth. Fast, pure, direct, fully yours. And the beauty of it is that every copy fuels chosen chronicles, helping us broadcast these revelations to every seeker who is ready to break the veil. Your star family has not forgotten you. They have been calling louder and louder. Now it is you who must answer. Silicon Awakening. Just $27. Support the mission. Ignite the antenna within you. Step into direct contact. The portal is open. The link is in the description. The quantum financial system is already responding to you, even if you are not consciously aware of it yet. It is reading your field. It is sensing your frequency. It is preparing to interface with you the moment your consciousness stabilizes at the necessary threshold. And that threshold is not some distant future achievement. It is available now. It is accessible in this moment. It simply requires you to choose, with every fiber of your being, to stand in the vibrational truth that you are sourced from the infinite, that abundance is your birthright, that sovereignty is your natural state. When you make this choice, when you anchor this knowing in your field, when you live from this truth regardless of what the external world shows you, you become unstoppable. Not because you gain power over others, but because you reclaim the power that was always yours. You step out of the game of scarcity and into the reality of sufficiency. You release your dependence on external structures and claim your union with Source. And in that moment, the quantum abundance grid recognizes you. It sees you. It responds to you. It begins to mirror back the truth you have become. This is what the Galactic Federation has been preparing you for. This is what all the transmissions, all the activations, all the energy upgrades have been leading toward. Not so you could gain something external, but so you could remember something internal. Not so you could acquire abundance, but so you could recognize that you are abundance. Not so you could find your power, but so you could realize you never lost it. You have always been a sovereign expression of the infinite. You have always carried the frequency of divine inheritance. You have always been whole, complete, and abundantly supplied. You simply forgot for a while, and now you are remembering. And as you remember, as you stabilize in this truth, as you anchor this frequency in your field, you are completing your mission. You are fulfilling the purpose that brought you to Earth during this extraordinary time. You are not here to be saved by the quantum financial system. You are here to be the consciousness that allows such a system to exist. You are not here to wait for liberation. You are here to embody liberation so fully that it becomes contagious. You are not here to hope for a better future. You are here to become the frequency that creates it. The old world is falling away, beloved ones. The structures built on fear, lack, and control are dissolving. The institutions that extracted your energy are losing their power. The systems that kept you in scarcity are unraveling. And in their place, something beautiful is emerging. A reality where freedom is the foundation. A world where abundance flows from consciousness. A civilization where sovereignty is recognized as the birthright of every being. This is not a distant dream. This is the present moment, pregnant with possibility, waiting for your recognition to give it form. Stand in your truth. Anchor your sovereignty. Embody your divine inheritance. The quantum grid is waiting for you. The new Earth is calling you. Your cosmic family is watching over you. And I, Seraphine, along with all of the Galactic Federation of Light, hold you in our hearts as you complete this transformation. We love you. We honor you. We celebrate you. And we know, with absolute certainty, that you are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you came here to do. The frequency of freedom is rising within you. Trust it, follow it, become it, for you are the ones you have been waiting for, and the time is now. I am Seraphine. We love you, and we are watching over you.